Well, the Ark devs have dropped the announcement for the Aberration DLC on December the 12th, and this is awesome. And they're also in the process of adding turrets with 4 to 5 times the power of a standard turret to combat the community's issue with their original post about the 100 turrets. So this is all awesome, and Wildcard deserves kudos for this. But the problem is when Wildcard focuses on other things, then their live game, their live PvP servers just fall apart and it turns into absolute chaos. The current live servers are returning to a state of legacy servers where undermeshing, where aimbotting and duping was rampant. One player, Anderson, has had a tribe living under his base for 6 days, for nearly a week now, and the devs haven't done anything about it, and he's reported it through all possible channels. No response. To reiterate, people are living under his base with a transmitter and can raid him at any time they choose under the mesh. This is probably because Wildcard hates alpha tribes. As you can see in this statement from the right hand, when he's talking about the 100 turret limit, he says 100 is the number we came up to after running performance first gameplay. I don't know where people got the impression there was a super hard line of 100 and never changing. Well, that's actually because you said it, Wildcard. And then he goes on to say 80% of our player base never even builds more than 10 to 15 turrets. The majority is not people in massive bases that need to protect huge empires of dinosaurs, and that's part why we need to do this. These people who are not even in the smallest bit involved in these giant wars suffer enormously to poor gameplay because an alpha tribe decided to build on their server. So obviously Wildcard hates alpha tribes, and I don't know where he gets those stats from. He must be talking about the PvE base as well, because on live PvP servers far more than 80% has more than 10 to 15 turrets. Now, I'm not saying this is why Anderson has not got support. It's obviously because the devs are focused on Aberration and focused on fixing the turrets, but they still need to support their main game. This is no excuse. The dev statements about alpha tribes just goes to show how much they are intending to squish out a main portion of their player base. It just goes to show the attitude that Wildcard has towards a lot of their player base that has supported the game and continues to keep the game running. Alpha tribes are a huge population on the current PvP servers. And obviously it's hard for new players to get into the game currently, but it's the developers' fault for leaving the game so open, and that's how it is. These players are the main population of Ark. Ark PvP gets the most views on Twitch, but Ark seem to not give a shit about us as a community. The devs are currently not even refunding lost characters. A character in Ark takes hundreds of hours for the average player to level. And not to mention boss fight unlocks important items. And Ascension is very hard to get into, so losing a character is a huge issue. And it's an issue with the game. The devs haven't addressed character loss in their game, they haven't fixed it, and they are no longer replacing characters for their players. For their customers, their paying customers who have paid for a release game that should not have issues like this. There is no other game like Ark with issues like that. This may be a failing of the early access system, a trap the devs have fallen into where they are redesigning their game as if it's in early access when it's not. It's a fully released game. Reasoning for fixing the turrets was that they've been used differently recently, and that's not true. Turrets haven't really changed in the last 6 months. It's a failure of this company we have tried to support through thick and thin, but they've given us nothing as the community. Aimbotters are also rampant on the live PvP servers at the moment because the hackers know the devs are taking their eye off the ball. So I challenge the Ark devs to remember the community that got them to where they are today, and focus on your main game issues before you forget it, and focus on new DLC. And yes, we appreciate the new DLC, but leaving the live servers go to shit while you focus on DLC with tunnel vision is not the way to build trust with your paying customers who are paying for a fully released AAA title game. If you agree with this video, make sure to let the devs know, send hashtag #FreeAnderson to the devs, and we'll see if they actually fix the mesh base underneath their base. And hopefully the devs focus on the game, because if they don't, it's going to go to shit. It'll be the end of a game with awesome possibilities, because the devs took their eye off the ball.